This week marks the 46th anniversary of the blizzard of 1978. From February 5th to 7th that year, New England saw record-breaking snowfall, high winds, and coastal flooding. The storm came from the Great Lakes and rapidly intensified into a powerful nor'easter. Despite the storm being well forecast, it still caused significant damage, especially coastal flooding, something all too familiar to us in recent months. On February 7, 1978, our local National Weather Service office, then known as WSFO Portland, issued a coastal evacuation order which warned of a potential record high water level, a feat which would be achieved at high tide later that day. With a 14.17 high, it was only just this January 13, 2024, that the record was broken again, a combination of storm surge, astronomical high tide, and high winds, which caused historic damage along the coastline. Though when comparing these two storms, they don't really have a lot in common. The blizzard of 78 followed a traditional nor'easter track over the ocean, while the January storm was an inland runner and stayed west over land. The blizzard overall was a stronger storm and had marginally higher wind speeds, but from a very different direction. The January storm had winds off the ocean, which is a notoriously bad wind direction for us because it reaches the coast without any resistance from the open water. But the blizzard was much slower moving, so it remained through multiple high tide cycles, whereas the January storm was much faster. However, both occurred during the astronomical high tide of the month, which is very significant. A big consideration here, though, is the last point. The 1978 storm in January, which set the all-time highest water level, the blizzard came a month later and set the record again. A similar thing happened this January, except the storms were only 3 days apart. And a month isn't very long, but 3 days certainly isn't enough time to allow cleanup and allow the coast to re-strengthen and protect itself from another storm. So even two storms that appear very different on the surface can produce similar impacts. But from these storms, we can learn how to protect our coastline from more damaging weather in the future. For News Center Maine, I'm meteorologist Dana Osgood.